Every click, every single transaction, all that personal data you generate online, it feels so essential, right? But also incredibly vulnerable.
It really does. We're living in this super complex, interconnected digital world.
Exactly. And it's always changing. Okay, so today on the deep dive, let's try and unpack this intricate dance between our digital lives and, well, the things designed to protect them.
And the stakes are just incredibly high. What's truly fascinating, or maybe a bit scary, is just the sheer scale of the global cyber threat.
It's huge.
Immense, and it keeps growing. Like, we're looking at projections for U.S. companies, losses over $452 billion just in 2024.
Wow.
And these aren't just, abstract problems happening somewhere else. These global challenges, they're hitting states like Oregon directly. It just shows how connected everything is now.
Absolutely. So our mission today is to really explore that whole web, specifically in Oregon. We want to dive into the cybersecurity side, the user data privacy laws.
Big tech's role in all of it.
Yeah, and how cyber attacks are evolving, especially, with AI thrown into the mix.
Yeah.
And then trace those ripple effects on Oregon's economy, its critical infrastructure. It's quite a journey into our digital security.
It really is.
Okay, before we really jump in, just a quick thank you to our sponsors, CISO Marketplace. You can check out their solutions at www.cisomarketplace.com and www.cisomarketplace.services.
They do some great work in this space.
They really do. All right, so let's start with the immediate threats, the digital landscape right now. It's not just like occasional incidents, is it?
Not at all. Some online sources estimate something like 720 cyber attacks every single hour.
Every hour, that's staggering.
It is. And there's this common misconception, right, that only the big fish, the Fortune 500s, are the targets.
Yeah, you hear that a lot.
But the reality,
Yeah.
completely different. Small businesses are often prime targets.
Why is that? Is it just easier?
That's a huge part of it. And it's particularly true for Oregon's small businesses. Many run on really tight budgets, so comprehensive security. It feels like a luxury they maybe can't afford.
Right.
Plus, they might have limited tech skills in-house, or they're maybe relying on older hardware, older software, stuff that hasn't been patched, leaves them wide open.
Okay.
And then there's this kind of false sense of security, like, oh, the criminals only go after the big guys.
Yeah, why would they target little old me?
Exactly. But the truth is, small businesses hold incredibly valuable data. Think about it. PII, personally identifiable information.
Names, social security numbers.
Credit card details, even valuable IP like trade secrets. For cyber criminals, that data is gold. And these smaller, maybe less protected businesses, they look like easier pickings.
It's like putting a tiny padlock on your door because your house isn't a mansion. The thief still sees an opportunity.
Precisely. It's about the value inside, not the size of the building.
Okay, so you've highlighted the stakes, especially for these smaller guys. When we talk about vulnerability, what are the actual ways attackers are getting in, the vectors they're using day to day? Is it still mostly phishing?
Phishing is definitely still a dominant threat, yeah. But it's evolved quite a bit.
How so?
We're not just talking about those obvious emails with typos anymore. Attackers use really sophisticated social engineering. They mimic trusted platforms, Adobe, PayPal, Google, incredibly well.
So they look legit.
Totally legit. They trick people into giving up logins or, worse, downloading malware. And malware itself, it's like this monster with many heads, viruses, trojans, spyware.
And ransomware, right? That seems to be everywhere.
Oh yeah, ransomware is probably the most feared right now. Encrypts all your data, demands a hefty payment. The stakes for businesses are just immense.
And it's not just email anymore, is it? I keep hearing about text message scams.
Right, smishing. That's phishing via SMS or text, like that toll road scam that was going around. Tricks you into clicking a bad link.
Yeah, I think I got one of those.
It's easy to fall for. And then there's pretexting. That's where someone pretends to be someone trustworthy, IT support maybe, or your utility company, to just ask you for information directly. They build a little trust, then exploit it.
So it's attacking from all angles, your computer, your phone, even just trying to trick you into talking. What happens when these defenses fail? What's the real fallout?
It's pretty bad. Beyond the obvious financial hit from, stolen data, repairs, maybe ransom payments.
Yeah.
There's the damage to reputation.
Customer trust.
Exactly. That's incredibly hard to rebuild. And then you've got the legal side. Potential lawsuits, big regulatory fines for not protecting data properly. It can cascade and just cripple a business, honestly, no matter the size.
It really underscores that size isn't security. It's about having those fundamental strategies.
Right.
And just being constantly vigilant. Awareness is key.
Absolutely. Everyone's job.
And dealing with these evolving threats, needing that robust defense. That's exactly where solutions from folks like CISO Marketplace come in.
Hmm.
If you're listening and thinking about strengthening your cyber posture or, meeting these new compliance rules, check them out. www.cisomarketplace.com and www.cisomarketplace.services.
Good resource.
Okay, so we've painted a picture of this treacherous digital landscape. Let's pivot now. How is Oregon fighting back? Not just reacting, but being proactive. And that brings us to its data privacy laws, specifically the Oregon Consumer Privacy Act, the OCPA, signed in June 2023.
Yeah, the OCPA is a really significant piece of legislation. It sets a pretty high bar for data privacy, actually.
How so? Who does it apply to?
Okay, so it kicked in for for-profit businesses on July 1st, 2024. Nonprofits get until July 1st, 2025. And it applies pretty broadly. Entities processing data of at least 100,000 Oregon consumers.
Okay, that's a lot of people.
Or if they process data for 25,000 consumers and get over 25% of their gross revenue from selling data.
Ah, so it targets the data brokers too.
Definitely. Now, there are some exclusions, government, some financial institutions, certain insurers, but generally, its reach is wide. It defines personal data basically as any info linked to you or your device.
And sensitive data.
That's where it gets really interesting. It covers the usual suspects, race, ethnicity, health, sexual orientation, genetics, biometrics. But crucially, it also specifically includes data of children under 13 and specific past or present location data.
Location data. Okay, that's big. So what rights do we as consumers actually get under OCPA? I heard there's an acronym.
There is. Makes it easier to remember.
Yeah.
LOCKED. It really outlines the new power you have over your information.
Okay, break it down for us. L.
L is for requesting a list of third parties where your data was sold.
Oh.
Opt out. This is huge. Opt out of data selling, profiling, and targeted advertising.
See.
Get a copy of your personal and sensitive data.
Okay.
Know what personal information they've collected about you in the first place.
A.
Edit any inaccuracies you find in your data. Delete. Ask them to delete your personal and sensitive information.
Wow. LOCKED. That really does put a lot more control back in the hands of the individual.
It really does. And what's maybe even more groundbreaking is how Oregon is already strengthening these protections. There's HB 2008, taking effect January 1st, 2026.
Okay, what does that add?
This introduces some of the toughest rules we've seen in any state privacy law. Specifically, it prohibits the sale of precise geolocation information.
Define precise.
They define it as accurately identifying an individual or device within a 1,750-foot radius, so roughly a third of a mile.
Yeah.
And there are only very narrow exceptions.
That's a game changer for advertisers and data brokers, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It forces a fundamental rethink of how they operate. It's not just about compliance. It's a strategic push by the state. Plus, it expands protection for minors.
How so?
It applies the rules around the data sale, targeted advertising, and profiling to kids under 16 if the company knows or, willfully disregards their age. That goes beyond the federal COPA standard, which is 13.
So Oregon's really leading the pack here, not just following.
Definitely setting a new standard for data ethics, you could say.
Okay, that's the individual privacy side. What about the bigger picture? State-level defenses. Is Oregon doing anything strategically there?
Oh yeah, it's not just about laws. They have the Oregon Cybersecurity Plan 2023. The goal is clear: a cyber-safe, secure, and resilient Oregon.
Sounds good. What's guiding it?
It draws heavily on established frameworks, like the NIST cybersecurity framework, identify, protect, detect, respond, recover.
It's standard, yeah.
And the CIS critical security controls. Key goals are things like better incident reporting, promoting secure online services, like using .gov domains properly, and just building a culture of cyber awareness across all state agencies.
Makes sense.
A big focus is on assessing and mitigating risks to what they call CIKR, critical infrastructure and key resources.
Like the power grid, water systems.
Exactly. They're partnering with agencies like the Oregon Department of Emergency Management, using services from CISA, the Federal Cybersecurity Agency, and MS-ISAC, which helps states share threat info.
So pooling resources and knowledge.
Right. And a really concrete example, they've deployed Albert sensors. These are basically intrusion detection systems in 32 of Oregon's 36 counties now.
Wow. Okay. That's proactive defense.
It shows a really holistic approach to state-level cybersecurity. It's not just about ticking boxes for federal rules, it's about genuine resilience.
That's vital, especially when so much relies on secure digital systems. And again, navigating these evolving standards, strengthening that cyber posture. That's where CISO Marketplace can help organizations. You can find them at www.cisomarketplace.com and www.cisomarketplace.services.
Worth looking into, for sure.
Okay, let's shift gears again. Artificial intelligence. This is where things get really interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because AI is this double-edged sword.
Absolutely. It's an incredibly powerful tool for defense, no doubt. But it's also becoming a serious enabler for more sophisticated cyber attacks.
Let's start with the positive side. How is AI helping, maybe specifically in the Pacific Northwest?
Well, look at the Pacific Northwest National Laboratory, P&L. They're doing some amazing stuff with AI for disaster response. It's shifting things from just reacting to predicting.
Like what?
Okay, take their wildfire prediction AI. It uses machine learning, analyzes weather, vegetation, historical fire data, and gets up to 90% accuracy in predicting fire spread.
90%, that's huge for responders.
To some critical lead time they never had before. Then there's their infrastructure resilience AI. It uses predictive modeling, sensor data, to find weak spots in, say, old bridges, power grids, roads before a disaster hits.
Preventing failures during an earthquake or flood.
Exactly, safeguarding those vital lifelines. They also use AI with satellite data to monitor disasters in real time, tracking wildfires, flood zones, infrastructure damage. It's apparently improving response times by around 30%. And they have machine learning for optimizing first responder actions, allocating resources better based on real-time traffic, population density, plus rapid analytics that process massive data sets almost instantly, cutting response times by maybe 25%. It's AI really being used for societal good, protecting communities.
It's genuinely amazing to see AI used like that, to save lives, protect infrastructure. But then there's the flip side.
The darker side, yeah.
How AI is being weaponized. We see headlines, right? AI voice clones powering phishing epidemics. It's getting easier for criminals to use these tools.
It is. And the sophistication isn't just in the attack itself. Sometimes it's in managing the attack infrastructure, making it accessible even to, well, younger criminals.
That's disturbing. Does Oregon have any specific experience with this kind of AI-powered threat?
Unfortunately, yes. There's a very recent, very relevant case.
Yeah?
The RapperBot case.
RapperBot. Okay, tell me more.
It involves Ethan Fultz, a 22-year-old Oregon man, from Eugene, actually. He's accused of operating one of the most sophisticated DDoS-for-hire botnets seen since about 2021.
DDoS, that's distributed denial of service, right? Overwhelming a target with traffic.
Exactly. RapperBot allegedly controlled somewhere between 65,000 and 95,000 infected devices, computers, IoT devices, you name it.
Wow.
And launched attacks sending 2 to 3 terabits of data per second. Just a fire hose aimed at overwhelming targets.
Who were the targets?
It had global reach. Attacks hit U.S. government networks, major social media platforms, U.S. tech companies. This case is part of a big international effort called Operation Power Off, trying to dismantle these criminal DDoS services.
So a 22-year-old in Oregon allegedly running this massive global attack network.
That's the accusation. And it really shows how AI, or at least sophisticated automation that mimics AI principles, can lower the barrier to entry for launching these incredibly destructive attacks. Managing 95,000 bots. That takes serious automation.
That's a chilling example. The sheer scale and maybe the ease with which this power can be wielded, it really underlines the need for advanced defenses. Maybe even AI fighting AI.
It's becoming necessary. Both AI-driven tools and sharp human analysts are crucial.
Which, again, brings us back to needing robust solutions, like those offered by our sponsor, CISO Marketplace, designed to combat these sophisticated, often AI-powered threats. Find them at www.comarketplace.com and www.comarketplace.services.
Essential tools for today's landscape.
Okay, let's try and connect these threads now. Cybersecurity, AI, and the wider economic picture in Oregon. The state's seen some pretty big economic shifts lately, hasn't it?
It really has. 2024 saw major layoff news from 2 of Oregon's giants.
Ouch.
Nike cutting over 700 people from its Beaverton HQ.
Ouch.
And Intel impacting over 15,000 globally, which definitely hit hard with its 20,000 plus employees right here in Oregon.
That's significant. How does this fit into Oregon's broader economy?
Well, Oregon's economy has changed dramatically over the decades, right?
Yeah.
From timber dominating to now this diverse mix. Tech, semiconductors, healthcare, apparel. While overall job growth has slowed down a bit recently, maybe 0.6%, some sectors are still really strong. Private healthcare and social assistance, growing by 6%.
Yeah. So it's a mixed picture. But not all bad news for tech, right? I keep hearing about the GPS Act.
That's the big hope. The GPS Act funding offers a really positive long-term outlook for the semiconductor industry, which is huge for Oregon. State lawmakers even pledged an extra $200 million to support it.
So there's investment coming in.
Definitely. And that ties back to AI, actually. Look at Intel. Part of their strategy, even with the layoffs, is explicitly about working to regain its position as a technology leader after missing the boat on advancement in artificial intelligence.
So the layoffs are partly about retooling for the AI future.
It seems like part of a delicate balancing act, yeah. It just shows how critical AI proficiency is now. Not just a nice to have, but essential for the economic resilience of these major tech players based here.
Okay, and let's bring big tech practices back to data privacy for a moment. Even as companies like Nike invest massively in digital e-commerce, data science, blockchain, metaverse stuff. There was that study recently, right?
Yes, a study that looked at apparel retailers, including Nike, H&M, The North Face.
What did it find?
It found they were sharing sensitive customer data with third parties, things like user-generated images, even potentially information related to sexual orientation.
Wow, that ties directly back to the OCPA, doesn't it? And that definition of sensitive data.
Exactly. Incogni, the firm behind the study, raised serious concerns. They felt some of this data collection and sharing went way beyond what's necessary to provide this service.
Which increases the risk for consumers.
Massively increases the risk of data breaches. And this just highlights why OCPA, with its specific rules on data sale, sensitive data, and that precise geolocation piece, is so critical. It's actively pushing these big companies, even global brands, to rethink how they collect data, how they get consent, especially for Oregonians, to be more transparent, more ethical.
It forces their hand, in a way.
It really does. Towards better privacy practices.
So today we've really taken a deep dive, haven't we, into this complex interplay between sophisticated cyber threats.
Oregon's really proactive, sometimes groundbreaking responses in privacy and cybersecurity.
That double-edged sword of AI, the good and the bad.
And the big economic shifts impacting Oregon's core industries.
It's a landscape that's constantly moving, constantly evolving, demands vigilance from, well, all of us.
You know, it really raises an important question, I think, for everyone listening. As technology just keeps accelerating, with AI both protecting us and threatening us, how will Oregon's legal landscape, especially around privacy and critical infrastructure, keep adapting? How do we ensure a truly safe, secure, and resilient future for everyone, citizens and businesses alike?
That's a powerful thought to end on, a real challenge for the future. We definitely encourage you, our listeners, to think about your own digital security, your privacy settings, and stay informed about what's happening locally and statewide. And a final huge thank you to our sponsors, CISO Marketplace, for supporting this deep dive into such critical issues. Find them one last time at www.cisomarketplace.com and www.cisomarketplace.services.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time on The Deep Dive.